I would go out on every implementation and cutover to make sure that that experience was good. And then I had a constant touch program. Once a month, I'm making a call. And then either quarterly or twice a year, I was doing a business review with them to talk about their future needs. Well, hi, everybody. It is Dave Elsner, the tech sales coach, here with another sales skills workshop. And with me today is David D'Antonio. He is the Senior Sales Vice President at LiveVox. And I was actually drawn to David because of some of his content on LinkedIn. We've been probably networking and engaging for a couple years. And he recently wrote an article about customer care and how his team ensures good retention and growth within his customer base. So caught my interest, knew it would be a great topic. David, maybe a brief introduction of you and the company?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me today, Dave. Glad to be here. A little bit about me. I'm a 30-year sales veteran. Came up through a lot of different technologies, mostly contact center. Was early in the hosted cloud technology at Avaya, at Strategic Products and Services, and here at LiveVox. I've been here for 10 years. A little bit about LiveVox. We are a cloud-based contact center as a service designed to provide a comprehensive contact center for our customers. And that would mean all voice, email, SMS, digital traffic, combined with workforce optimization tools and a contact management technology. So the agent has that customer has a complete desktop to be able to work from. So that's a little bit about us.
Awesome. I love the advances in contact center over the last few years. You know, the customer experience from my side is improving so much.
Good.
Yeah. So one of the things you talk about was being customer centric. And so what do your customers expect?
Well, you mentioned that when we were preparing, and customers are honestly really surprised by it. Salespeople traditionally come in and do the product dump. And anybody that worked at some of the large manufacturers, everything was about the technology. Look at this great stuff that we built. Go tell all your customers about it. And frankly, LiveVox was guilty of that for a long time, but we changed our approach, and it has much better results. So I think when customers realize what we're trying to do, they're thrilled. It's just we kind of catch them off guard at first. The difference is, instead of telling the customer everything about what you have, I want my salespeople to understand, who is this customer? What are they trying to accomplish? What is their situation today? What do they want their situation to be? And how can you help them get there? Now, if our technology fits in to meet those needs, then great. Sometimes they don't. But most of the time we're able to see, okay, what you currently have is a challenge for your agents. Here's how you want to improve it. These are the tools that you need. And often, most of the time, go into the cloud. We're able to deliver that through our technology. But the customers, when they first hear that we want to understand their workflow, understand how they operate, understand what an agent does every day, it's funny, they're usually taken aback because they're used to someone just coming in and doing a product dump.
Yeah, I mean, you perfectly described a buyer-centric approach. Understand their goals and their outcomes and help them achieve those things. That's perfect. You also talked about being empathetic to their struggles. And so I feel like that's almost one layer deeper of what you just described. Can you tell us more?
I train my salespeople a lot on business acumen. We put a lot of time through our sales enablement team to educate them on what are companies doing and how are they trying to operate. In every call center that's ever existed, their budget is not enough to support the needs that they have. They have to figure out a way to do it with less money, with less people, with a smaller budget, with confined resources of some sort. And so understand that. So the customer has been driven to drive customer sat up 5%, or customer or IVR capture 10%, but they're not given any budget to do so. So understand that, because if you can't meet those needs, they're not going to be able to buy anything. You have to be able to understand and empathize with where they are and what they're trying to accomplish. And you have to be able to respect their obstacles and help them overcome them. So I think that is a valuable thing that our salespeople bring to a call. Hopefully they're all doing it well.
Yeah, no. Empathy is a huge one. I think that's in discovery where you find the value and the budget. You ask the how many, how often, how much, you really drill down into those struggles to find those dollars. So I think you also go the extra mile in spending a lot of time with the customer agents to help them increase their customer experience, which I'm sure is great for your retention and growth as well. But is it the sales teams, or what kind of team goes in and makes the customer a better customer experience?
My sales engineering team goes in along with my salespeople, and they'll do a shadow. Now, they'll often, with technology today, we're able to do it remotely, which is really great. So what we can do is set up a Zoom call, and the agent will take us through their workflow. What happens when the phone rings? What screen pops first? What work do they do in that screen? Do they have to open other screens? How many systems do they have open simultaneously? Our sales engineers will document that. If we do it on Zoom, a little sales tip, if you do it on Zoom or Teams or whatever the technology you have, you can record it and go back. You don't have to take as much notes while you're doing it. You can just let the agent flow, take notes later. So we'll usually record the call and then document that workflow. Here's a flow chart of what happens when an agent receives a call for a sale, for a service, etc. Now, once we have that mapping, that documentation, agent workflow mapping, we will then say, okay, here's the friction that we found when your agent was in the call. Here's where they had to do a cut and paste, and they had to look up the number in another system, type it into a third system. These are the things that are slowing you down. Let's take a look at how we can facilitate this particular friction point. Once we're at that level, frankly, we're really in the partnership discussion, because now they have really opened up to say, this is how we operate today. What are you seeing, and how can we make improvements? Because we've done this thousands of times, customers over and over, we know we've seen these things before. We have a lot of ways that we can make these improvements, and there's some low-hanging fruit. It usually gets a lot more complex than that, but now the customer is really partnering with the sales team to say, okay, this LiveVox, these guys are really here in a consulting role, and they're going to help us get better. When you get to that point, I think theoretically everything takes care of itself. I find that the hardest part of the sale is getting into that trust and getting to the point where they're willing to open up and show you how they operate. But that's when we're really, once we get there, my team starts to really sing.
Trust is huge. And thank you for doing that, by the way. Nothing drives me and many people more crazy than, an auto attendant that has ambiguous numbers and selections, and you end up at the wrong place. They gather your information, they transfer you, and then the next person gathers your information. And then they transfer you, and the next person gathers. It's like, does your solution do that? Connect all the way through from agent to agent?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, that's probably one of its greatest strengths is having the agents all work out of our system. What we would like to be able to do is find a way for the agents to do everything inside of our LiveVox agent desktop. So then all of their other systems are all linked to our platform. The agent's doing all of their work in one place. So no matter where the call goes, the other department doesn't have to gather new information. Again, because we have all those things integrated, digital, along with voice, if an agent gets a phone call and the customer had recently had a chat session or recently had an SMS session or a previous phone call, when the agent gets the call, even if it happens seconds later, there'll be a transcript of the previous phone call, a transcript of the chat session, and a transcript of the SMS session all in one place. So when you call in and say, I'm calling about this refi, this is the third time I've called, I haven't been able to get this figured out. Well, thank you, Dave. Mr. Elsner, we have your transcript from the chat session where you entered all of that data here in front of me. It's already been translated into our books. I think you did. There was a couple things you didn't finish yet, and then and ultimately give you that type of experience. I think today, we all have. There's a few companies that we go to that we really like our experience. For me, it's my airline. I won't give them a plug today because they're not going to give me one in return. But when I call my airline, I'm a diamond. Okay, now you know who they are. I'm top level status. I instantly get to somebody and they say, hello, David, thank you for calling. Is this about your flight to San Francisco next week? Yes, it is. How can I help you? So I don't have to do anything. I don't have to have my flight number. I don't have to have my confirmation number. They have all that data because they linked it to my phone. So that company's huge and they have tens of thousands of agents and they're global. So, but there's this little company over here that has 300 agents or 50 agents, and they make microwave shelves and they want to provide that same level of service.
Yeah.
But they're dying for that technology. Show me how to do that. I said, well, if you want what those other guys have, they spent $400 million on it. You probably don't have that. So let me show you how LiveVox would do that with. I think that's really what it's. Today, a lot of companies have delivered a great customer experience. And the small company wants to be able to do that same thing. And by small, I mean smaller, 1,000 agents, 500 agents, 250 agents, whatever it is. They want to be able to deliver that great experience to their client, and they don't know how. And that's, where we come in.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So let's talk about the skill of retaining and growing your existing customers. When I was in sales, I would go out on every implementation and cutover. It sounds like just like your teams do, to make sure that experience was good. And then I had a constant touch program. Once a month, I'm making a call. And then either quarterly or twice a year, I was doing a business review with them to talk about, their future needs. And so what kind of things are you teaching your teams?
A lot of the same. That's pretty good, pretty comprehensive. I remember those midnight cutovers in the telecom switch room where I had to bring the pizza. Today, in the cloud world, there's usually not a cutover. Everybody's remote. There's not even a building to go to. So, but yeah, my salespeople carry anywhere from 6 to 12 accounts each. I have two sets of teams. I have an acquisition team designed to win new logo, and I have a named accounts team designed to retain and grow the existing base. And that team is responsible for. They have two parts of their quota. Half of it is revenue and half of it is new bookings, new product that they sell or upsells. And so they need to know, I require all of them. I want an org chart. I want you to draw me an org chart of everybody in that company that you know, don't know, need to know, what they do, why they're important. And your job is to get as far and wide as you possibly can within that account. In a lot of accounts, if you think about a BPO, we came in one business segment, and there's 20 other business segments that we still have to win. And my salespeople need to go learn all those other people and do that. So that part one is knowledge of the account. I expect them to do an enormous amount of research on the industry that they serve, how they operate. They should be documenting workflows, understanding how the technology is being used. And then we do business reviews, typically, depending on the customer, some want them more often. Some of them want those quarterly. We do a bit of an analysis. We came in with, here's how you're operating today. Here's how your peers are operating in the same industry. You should be here. Let me show you where your gaps are. So we'll come in and do a performance analysis of how they're using the technology today and how they could make improvements with it and make recommendations. Sometimes there's a product that goes with that. You should consider this product that we have. But more often than not, it's just reconfiguration or some little tweaks in how it's built to allow the customer to get better. And then usually in that same business review, it's the customer will tell us their 3, 6, 9 month goals. We'll tell them our things that we think that would benefit them, and then we go to dinner. We have what I would consider an industry-leading retention rate. I don't think it's public, so I can't share it, but it is. We have a very, very high retention rate, and my named account team does what I would think a great job of maintaining that base and continuing to show our value to those customers. I think some companies just they have one person who's assigned to 25 accounts, and if that customer needs anything, they take a phone call. We're much more proactive. Almost every account that we have, there's an opportunity to expand. So my sales reps are there. The named accounts team's there to go expand and grow that business.
Yeah, we've all read the studies about retaining and growing versus net new, and I don't know, 90% tile for retention and growth is what actually creates better growth than the focus on net new. So, and it sounds like you guys are doing a lot more than what I described in the beginning. I guess I didn't have access to all those data analytics back then.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's really powerful about being 100% cloud and having all of our data in cloud. My analysts we can do industry research, compare one client to many others, show them where they're soaring. We'll actually come in, and every one of these is a trust exercise, right? We'll come in and say, right here, you're blowing away your competition. You could probably back off a little bit here and save a little money. And when you show a customer how you can save them money, that usually generates, ultimately, we're here. These people that I have in those roles, they're nurturers. They're the people that want to help customers. And so they really enjoy that. And they want to build trust. And once you have trust, then you can get to work, right? So we work very hard to get the trust and maintain it. And when we lose it, we know it, and we usually fly down and find out why, because we want to make sure we have a strong base of trust with all of our customers.
Right on. All right, last question. When we first started networking, you were a regional VP, and then you jumped to sales VP. Now you're the senior sales VP. I know you're a humble guy, but how'd you get there so fast?
I'm a Steeler fan, and Mike Tomlin says there's no secret to hard work. It's just naturally, I've had some results. I've been fortunate to hire great leaders, great salespeople, that are hardworking, loyal people. I went to West Point. I'm an Army veteran, and early in my career, the colonel told me, "Love your soldiers." He didn't mean love them romantically. He meant look out for their well-being. Make sure they have the training they need. Make sure they have the resources they need. Make sure they have everything they need to be able to do their job, and then set high expectations for them and reward them when they overachieve. So that's what I've always done. The trust that I expect my salespeople to build with their customers, I work very hard to build with my salespeople and my sales managers. I think I do an okay job of that, and from that I get really good, hardworking people that are committed to dealing with the day-to-day issues. We're a software company. Stuff breaks, things go wrong. My salespeople work Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, and late night on Tuesday, and early in the morning in order to resolve the problem for that customer. And it's just a culture that we've created here. We're going to work hard and we're going to be successful together. And, over time, I was fortunate enough to be rewarded for that. So I run the whole thing now, and I'm pretty excited about that. This is what I've wanted for a long time. So thanks for mentioning it. I think but ultimately it's really the people that I was able to hire and coach. Those are the guys that are getting the job done. I get the promotion.
I think I would add that it's your teachings around being customer centric, being empathetic, understanding their struggles. Like, that's huge nowadays. The day of doing BANT, like budget authority, needs, and timing, are long gone. It is all about understanding the buying process, the buying criteria, and helping them. And so I would say your teachings are probably accelerating your growth.
Yeah, if you're selling vacuums, maybe BAMP is the right thing. But when you're going to show a customer how they're going to improve their workflow, reduce their average handle time, reduce their talk time, improve customer satisfaction, improve customer retention, blah blah blah. What's the matter? How much it costs?
Yeah.
Budget is, you develop the budget. The budget comes from the money you're going to save them, the performance you're going to give them, the revenue growth they're going to receive from this. Yeah, you're right. All those things they're basic sales fundamentals for selling something. But if you're selling big complex technology, you have to be really understanding the customer's needs, and you have to show the customer a way to make them better. But the last thing I'd probably say, we changed our branding this year, which is something I'm really thrilled with, and it's really all about making the customer the hero. The salespeople are the guide. The customer is the hero. In most technology companies position themselves as the hero. It's all about making the customer the hero, showing that VP of customer service that you're going to have a much better contact center with better improved metrics, and I'm going to show you how to get there. So we are the guide, they're the hero, and when we get that relationship going, it's been very successful for us. This has been one of the best years we've had, actually.
That's awesome. We are going to end on that high note. Your advice is pretty damn good, and I know that my watchers on this, I guess you call it a vodcast, are going to enjoy this episode for sure. Thanks so much, David.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that,
everybody.